I'm Heather, welcome to another vlog. In this vlog, I'm going to read My Entire Physical TBR. Now, if you got clickbaited into this and you don't normally watch my videos, then you might not know that I really do not buy physical books at all. I do not have a physical TBR. This is not a thing that I do. I don't really buy books in general. I usually read from the library and Kindle Unlimited, but if I am going to buy a book, it's basically going to be an ebook, and it's going to be unusual, not the norm. However, over the course of my booktube career, which is a little over a year, I have acquired these 4 books that I have not read yet, so let's go over them. The first one I have is a manga. It's Cutie and the Beast Volume 2. This one, the physical was like within $1 of the ebook version, or the physical was cheaper, one or the other. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna buy a physical then. I honestly have decided I do like reading manga better physically than I do digitally, even though I am a digital reader. And this one's just really cute. It's an age gap between a professional wrestler and his #1 fan who happens to be like a senior in high school, and nothing sexual happens, at least not yet. I think the third one is actually coming out in July, but it's just really cute, honestly. But I haven't read this volume yet. The other one that I have bought for myself is A Touch of Stone and Snow. That was right. Which is The Gathering of Dragons, #2 by Milla, Vane. This is a fantasy romance series, and when I bought them, at least, the paperbacks were cheaper than the ebooks, and my library did not have the ebooks. My library does now have these ebooks, and so this one I do plan on reading. I checked it out from the library on ebook, but I do own it physically and haven't read it. The first one is a disabled, quiet, incredibly smart princess and a barbarian warlord. This one is a little bit of the opposite. It's friends to lovers, second chance, and she is a warrior and is very capable, and she thinks he helped her get kicked out or something like that. I don't know, but I do know that I'm very, very interested in reading it, and my husband calls this my Sir Absalot book. Then when I was on her podcast, Read My Lips, oh no, I just blanked on her name. Tara North? Is that right? I really hope that's right. She sent me this book as a thank you, and it is Koyn, which is a Royal Bastards MC, is a motorcycle club daddy romance, and it's by Webster. I have never read Webster. She's a dark romance author that I'm familiar with. I hear her wrecked a lot, and I'm scared. I'm scared to read it, so I haven't read it yet. This one my library does not have on ebook, and it's not on Kindle Unlimited, so this is the book besides the manga that I do have to read physically. I'm worried about kind of the trauma that I know that he has to go through. It talks about how he's tortured, or he is a torturer, something like that. So I'm a little bit nervous of it, but it's a daddy romance, so daddy kink. And then lastly, by the author, I was sent Love in the Wild, which is a Tarzan retelling, a modern day one by Emma Castle. This one I was able to get on ebook from my library. They had it, and I actually read it this morning. Love in the Wild. I gave it 3 stars. It is a pretty true, well, there's some variations, but there's a lot of retelling going on in the book. So we kind of get the viewpoint of his parents back when they crashed. We get the viewpoint of his uncle who is looking for him. We get the viewpoint of the bad guy. And then we also get Thorn, who is our Tarzan-like character. And we get Eden, who is our Jane-like character. And there's a steamer romance, there's some magic in here. There was a lot of interesting things. For me, it was 3 stars because I kind of skimmed the parts that weren't about the relationship, because that's who I am as a reader. I'm here for the relationship. And there was something lacking in the relationship, and I think that was communication. So they were doing pretty well, but ultimately he hadn't been having conversations for most of his life. So there were struggles there, and for me, the dialogue is like what I'm reading for. I want all the cute and intense conversations between the couple. That's really, like, I could read 90% of the book being conversations between the couple, and then the other 10% being them banging. Like, that's what I'm into. And so I think that is what was lacking, but I think that if you would enjoy more of the story, and I think part of it is too, I already know the story. I already know the story of Tarzan. So I don't need you to spend pages and pages setting me up on that story. I already know it. And I'm like this with descriptions too. If you're setting up a fantasy world, I'm like, all right, I got your point. I understand the reference. I can see in my mind the type of society that you're setting up. And I got that in a couple sentences, so I don't need 3 chapters of it. Obviously, not everybody's like that. Some people like the more detailed, the better. For me, I very much like the conversations more so than this is the story setup. So all that to say, I think that this can easily be 5 stars for some people. I know other booktubers who have rated 5 stars, but for me, it was more of the middle of the road because I didn't care as much about the story other than the couple. So I did read that one on ebook from the library. That was great. I was happy to have actually conquered one. I've been having some pretty bad reading slumps lately, so that's great. And I will just be checking in either in the middle of the book if something like crazy is happening and I have to tell you, or just when I finish each book, I will check in and that will be our vlog. I'm kind of excited to do a themed vlog, and I'm really excited to knock all these books out because I don't like having books that I haven't read because that's just not who I am. I don't have a physical TBR. I don't buy books as a hobby. I read books as a hobby. I don't hold it against anybody who does buy books as a hobby. That's just not what I do. So honestly, if I don't love them, I want to be able to pass them on. That's me. So I know you can probably hear the mower. My neighbor hates me. I don't know what to tell you. All right, I'll check in after I've read another book, whether that's tomorrow or 3 weeks from now. Nobody knows. All right, bye. Okay, it is like a week later and I am 40% through A Touch of Stone and Snow. Yes. I don't know why this title always gives me problems. I look a mess. It's okay. So I'm 40% through and I've cried like 3 times. So this is Friends to Lovers, Second Chance. He is the bastard prince of their kingdom. They're both being noble, right? So he has secrets that he can't tell her and why he can't be with her right now. And she was disgraced. She was the only survivor of a battle with wraiths, and they said, well, the magic can't live here, so you must be a coward. You ran and hid while your company was slaughtered, and then you lied so that you wouldn't be disgraced. And she was exiled. It's the yearning. It's the yearning. They love each other so much. They've been committed to each other for 10 years in this world. Because it's a fantasy world, there's like this big deal about your virginity happening on the moon night, which I think is like the first day of the full moon. So that played a part in the first book, but they are both still virgins and they have been waiting for each other for all these years and they can't be together, and their paths cross again. And then she like requests a quest from the goddess, and the goddess is like, the first person that you see, you have to protect them with your life. And then she knows that she's going to die at the end of her quest because that's what she asked for. She wants to not bring shame to her family. She wants to be vindicated in her country so that they don't have to bear the weight of her shame, even though she didn't do anything. So she knows she's gonna die, and he knows he can't be with her until he completes this big freedom thing that we don't know what it is. And they just love each other so much, and they want to be together, and they can't, and I'm just like so emotional about it. I've cried 3 times, and part of it might just be that like I've had a really long week. This next week should be a lot easier, but I've had a really long week. So I'm like, even my husband like told me that I'm a little bit off. I'm just drained. I'm just drained. So that makes my emotions rise to the surface, and I like cry easier, but still I've cried. I've cried 3 times. I'm not even halfway through, and I just want them to be together, and they can't. But I want them to be, and I'm just like, please. So like, she's a warrior and he's a prince who they call the feral prince, but it's because he doesn't have good manners. And she's like, wow, I thought that they called you that because they know how deadly you are. He's like, yeah, I know. It's because they think I'm harmless, but have no manners. I am just obsessed with this book right now. The first time I cried was like 11% through. And I was just like, why? Why is this happening to me? It's really good. But the other two books that I've read by Milla Vane and then her other pen name of Mel Jane Brooke, they, like, the angst, like, they didn't get together fully. Like, I love you, I'm gonna, you know, happily ever after, until like the end of the book. So I'm just like, I still have 60% to go of them wanting to be together and not being together, and I don't know if I can do it. It's a lot. It's a lot. But so well done. And I'm kind of surprised because it's a touch of Stone and Snow, right? They're from this northern kingdom, but their paths cross in the jungle. So the whole book so far has been in the jungle, and that's been really interesting. And he has a saber-tooth cat with him in the jungle and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, I just want you guys to be happy with your saber-tooth that doesn't like anybody else but loves you both and will kill for you. That's all I want. Why are we saving the world when we can just be happy together? They're like so, not martyry, but definitely, you know, sacrifice for the greater good, and, you know, will put thousands of lives ahead of their own happiness. And I'm like, but why? But we could just be happy. We could just do that. So I am 84% through this book right now, and I think that you should know that in the beginning to the middle of the book, there's probably some suicide ideation. She is waiting for death. She wants death, but she wants her death to mean something. She wants her death to redeem her family and to take the shame off their name that her supposed cowardice had inflicted. And there is, when her love interest finds out that she wants to die, he does not take it well and accuses her of being a coward and things like that. Now, this does get solved probably by the 60% mark, maybe after that, maybe before that, but definitely she is waiting for death, so just be aware of that. We are in the showdown, and things are not going how I expected. There's like a very gruesome thing that just happened, but I'm just like, no, everybody be okay. I don't know what we're about to do, but I'm in it. I'm in it. Okay. I loved it. I love that book so much. And they actually didn't have a ton of angst. Probably by the 60% mark, they were together, and there was no third act breakup, and they were working together to defeat the enemies and the demons and the destroyer and all the things. I loved it. It was a great addition to the series. I still need to read the prequel, which I probably won't read right away because the third one doesn't come out until January of next year now. But I'm just absolutely loving this fantasy series. I teared up a bunch of times there at the end, but it was just so good. So good. 5 stars. Recommend. Greatness. Say bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys, it is the next day, and I finished Cutie and the Beast Volume 2. It was cute. So basically the second volume follows him trying to convince her dad to let them date, and then their first date, which doesn't go great because of his fame. But again, this is a high school senior and a pro wrestler, and she's like his #1 fan. They like have kissed on the cheek, I think, and that's it. And he like wants to marry her, and her dad is like, she can't get married until she's 20. She has to, you know, not go from high school to marriage. So it's pretty cute, but I think that she was kind of insecure with the fame stuff. But yeah, it was cute. I very well might continue buying the series. So if you like romance manga and you just want a sweet romance with a celebrity pro wrestler, then this is a good one, and that's really all it is. So if you like that, there you go. Okay, it's the same night. I just got out of the bath. It's 9:30 at night now, and I read Koyn. And I gave it 1 star. It was weirdly compulsively readable. The writing was pretty good in that sense. But when I tell you that this book is too dark for me and has all the content warnings, and I ended it kind of feeling like the hero was not much better at all than the rapist villain. There's a lot of weird things in here and a lot of things that I just was not okay with, and this definitely confirmed that Webster is too dark for me. Obviously a lot of people love her work, you know, that's totally fine, but for me, do not recommend. So I feel really bad because I know that Tara is watching this, but you know, that's just how book recommendations go sometimes. So, content warnings. Now we're gonna get into some spoilery content warning things because I need to rant. Okay. So, in the prologue, his wife and daughter are raped and killed in front of him, and an X is carved in his face. He breaks free, he kills one guy, but the main guy escapes. But that guy was hired by somebody who we don't know who it is for like half the book, if not more. She is 18. She's been in love with this boy since she was 13. He was all of her first, but he is the villain's son, and he's just not turning into a great guy in his motorcycle club. And so he's cheating on her a lot. She goes to try and find him cheating on her, and his dad fingers her kind of against her will. She's too scared to say anything about it, and the son walks in on them. So then they end up having sex, and then she wakes up and he's gone again. So there's a party going, so she dresses up, she goes to find him. His dad makes her give him a blowjob. She finds her boyfriend cheating with a club woman, and he's like, "You're not my girlfriend, you're not my old lady, you're just a lay." And then he proceeds to try and rape her and threaten that he's gonna pass her around and everybody's gonna rape her in every way imaginable. In the midst of this, the hero finds out that where this guy is that killed his family, and he goes and raids the clubhouse, kills everybody, but the guy escapes again. No surprise. But he walks in on this guy raping his girlfriend, or attempting to rape his girlfriend, and the guy looks like the villain younger, and she looks like his daughter. So he, you know, loses his mind, kills him. Okay, the plan had always been to kill him in front of his dad, but he loses his mind. He rescues her. Okay, all right, so all of this sucks, right? But I'm like, all right, so we've gone through the worst of it. No, we haven't. No, we haven't. So there are other content warnings besides all of that happens at the beginning of the book. There's also rape, incest rape. She's sold by her dad to be raped. He is going to attempt to use her as revenge after they've already had a relationship, because he's viewing this 18-year-old as a mastermind who's just sleeping with somebody who he knows is a serial rapist, and he's going to assume that she was consensual and in on it. I'm so mad about this. I'm just like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're just going to assume that she was a plant and that she is willingly having sex, where not only did this man kill and rape your family, but you know, you've gone into his records, he has a rapist rap sheet so incredibly long. He likes underage girls, all the things. She's barely 18, and no, I'm mad. I'm so mad. And then there's like some really weird stuff in that he is projecting his dead daughter onto her, but wants to sleep with her. And he does anal with no prep and gets her pregnant, and when she comes back, treats her like a prisoner. and is going to rape her in front of her dad because he paid for that to happen to him. And I'm just like, and you're the hero? You've already had a relationship with this girl. This is a mindless face, even if that would make it okay, which it's not. But you've had a relationship with her. A relationship where she was your prisoner already. Like, and he like drugs her and takes her back to her dad without her knowing, and of course he doesn't know, but he's returning her to rape and abuse and a prisoner. And okay, next day, video editing Heather here, because apparently I'm not done talking about all the things I hate in this book. So the daddy kink stuff, I don't feel like I went into that very well. I feel like this was a really poor representation of daddy kink. Now, you do have to understand, I don't actually have a daddy kink. I like reading about it because I like reading about the protective, providing dom who just like notices all the little things and cares for them and is attentive in that way. I don't enjoy little play personally. And I'm also like, the name daddy doesn't do anything for me, right? So all of my experience with daddy kink is through books. It is not a thing that I have in my real life. But I felt like this was a terrible representation, and I would love to know if you've read it, what you think about this. But all of the daddy stuff was him being triggered or projecting the loss of his daughter onto her. And she knew that, and she would manipulate it just so he would be nice to her. She would do something to remind him of his daughter. And like, that's not what daddy kink is. And she talks about how she has daddy issues, and that definitely is, it's incest in the book, rape. That's not daddy kink. And the only times he was attentive or caring or protective or even halfway nice is basically when he was triggered into thinking about his daughter. And that's not what it is. And then also, I just have a huge problem with, you know that this girl is an 18-year-old runaway. You know she hasn't told you where she's from or who she is because she doesn't want to go back. And you're going to drug her and return her without having a single conversation or asking why she ran away, just because you think she's like a sassy brat type character. Teenagers don't run away from home if home is good. They just don't. They don't. And they definitely don't run away to somewhere that they don't feel safe. I felt like he was a terrible daddy. And all of the plot points were rape. So I felt like there was no reason for her to view him better than any of the other terrible men in her life, because he wasn't good to her. And there was no healthy relationship there in any way. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. If you are not already into daddy kink, this is going to be too dark. If you're not already into motorcycle clubs and the language that they use for women and the misogyny and the way that they treat women, this is going to be too dark. And if you're not okay with a whole lot of rape being all the plot points and trauma in this book, also he does like saw people to death in front of her, and then when she asks him not to kill her, sleeps with her again. I'm so mad. Not to mention he's in his late 40s and she is 18. She's 18. You know that this man is a serial rapist, and you're going to blame her and treat her like a prisoner? I cannot. I can't fucking not. I'm just, yeah, he can choke and die. He does not deserve the happily ever after at all. At all. No. Not only do you have multiple rapists as the villains, but I could not root for the hero or any of the guys in it. No. Nope. She's 18 and you're all just going to stand by and let this happen? No. No. I am not cool with any of them. They can choke. I don't like them. So yeah, I'm just mad. Don't like that book. Won't read more. Too dark for me. So that's where I'm at, which obviously, again, this is just for my personal taste. It's totally fine if you like it. It's just, yeah, it's not for me. He's the worst. 1 out of 10. Would not recommend. So for the vlog, I know I look a mess. I don't care. It's such is life. First, I read Love in the Wild by Emma Castle, the Tarzan retelling, gave that 3 stars. Then I read A Touch of Stone and Snow by Milla, Vane, gave that 5 stars. Amazing fantasy romance. Then I read Cutie and the Beast, Volume 2, gave that 5 stars, super cute manga. And lastly, I read Koyn, Bastards MC by Webster and gave it 1 star. I am really happy that I did this because I don't know when I would have read these books, and I'm happy to have read all of the unread books in my bookshelf. So I'm really happy that I did this vlog. This is fun. I'm glad I did it. It's just kind of too bad that we ended on such a sour note, but such is life. That's kind of the adventure of reading. You never know what you're gonna get. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. Have you read Webster and loved her? Would love to hear your thoughts on that or any of the other books. And that's it. Thanks. Bye.